Welcome to Easy Classic Stories. This is a retelling of The Secret Garden, a novel by Frances Hodgson Burnett. The Secret Garden is a lovely book by Frances Hodgson Burnett. It's about a girl named Mary who finds a hidden garden. She makes friends and learns to care for the garden. The book is very successful. Many people love it. It has been turned into movies and plays. It's a heartwarming story about friendship, nature, and growing up. Now listen carefully to the story. At the end, we'll have an exercise on key events to help test your understanding. Mary Lennox lived in India with her parents. She was a lonely girl. Her parents were always busy and didn't spend much time with her. One day, a terrible disease called cholera spread in India. Many people got sick, including Mary's parents. Sadly, they both died. Mary was now an orphan. Mary had to leave India. She was sent to live with her uncle Archibald Craven in England. She travelled on a long ship journey to a place called Yorkshire. Mary was not happy. She didn't know her uncle and felt very alone. When Mary arrived at her uncle's house, Misselthwaite Manor, it was big and old. The housekeeper, Mrs. Medlock, met her. Mrs. Medlock was not very friendly. She told Mary, "You're to live here, and you're to keep out of Master Craven's way. He doesn't want to see you." Mary was taken to her room. It was big but not very cozy. She felt even lonelier. The next day, Mary started exploring the big house. She walked through long hallways and looked at many rooms. The manor was quiet and empty. Mary felt like she was the only person there. One day, Mary met a cheerful maid named Martha. Martha was kind and talked to Mary. She told Mary stories about the manor and the gardens. Martha said, "There was a garden that Mrs. Craven loved, but it's been locked up for years." Mary was curious about this secret garden. Mary continued to explore the manor and its gardens. She found many beautiful places, but she still felt lonely. She missed having friends and someone to talk to. But Mary was determined. She wanted to find out more about the secret garden and the mysteries of Misselthwaite Manor. As days passed, Mary spent more time outside. She started to feel a little better. The fresh air and the beauty of the gardens made her less sad. She began to think that maybe, just maybe, she could find happiness in this new place. Mary's journey at Misselthwaite Manor had just begun. She didn't know it yet, but she was about to discover something magical that would change her life forever. Mary continued to explore Misselthwaite Manor. She spent a lot of time outside, walking through the gardens. One day she met Martha, the friendly maid, again. Martha told Mary more about the secret garden. "Mrs. Craven loved that garden," Martha said, "but after she died, Mr. Craven locked it up and buried the key." Mary was very curious about the secret garden. She wanted to find it and see what was inside. She asked Martha, "Where is the garden?" Martha replied, "Somewhere in the grounds, but no one goes there anymore." Mary decided she would find the garden no matter what. One day while exploring, Mary found a small walled garden. The door was hidden behind ivy. She pushed the ivy aside and saw her old keyhole. She remembered what Martha had said about the key being buried. Mary looked around and found a place where the earth looked different. She dug into the soil with a stick and found an old key. Mary's heart beat fast as she put the key into the keyhole. It turned with a click. She pushed the door open and stepped inside. The garden was quiet and still. It was full of dead plants and weeds, but Mary could see that it used to be beautiful. There were roses and other flowers, now dried and lifeless. Mary started to visit the secret garden every day. She brought a small trowel and began to dig up the weeds. She wanted to make the garden beautiful again. It was hard work, but Mary enjoyed it. She felt happy and busy for the first time in her life. One day while working in the garden, Mary heard a soft chirping sound. She looked up and saw a little red-breasted robin. The robin hopped close to her and looked at her with bright eyes. Mary smiled and said, "Hello, little bird." The robin chirped back as if saying hello too. Mary felt like the robin was her friend. She talked to it while she worked. The robin would hop around her, chirping and keeping her company. Mary named the robin Redbreast. She looked forward to seeing Redbreast every day. As Mary worked in the garden, she started to see small signs of life. Green shoots poked through the soil. Buds appeared on the rose bushes. Mary was excited. She knew that with her care, the garden would come back to life. Mary's days were filled with purpose. She woke up early every morning, eager to go to the garden. She worked hard, digging, planting, and watering. The garden began to change. It was no longer a sad, dead place. It was becoming beautiful and full of life, just like Mary's heart. Mary continued to work hard in the secret garden. Every day she saw more signs of life. Small green leaves appeared on the plants. The roses started to grow. Mary was happy with the changes she saw. She felt proud of her work. One day while Mary was working in the garden, she heard a soft whistling sound. She looked up and saw a boy about her age. He had a friendly face and was surrounded by animals. There was a squirrel on his shoulder, and birds flew around him. The boy smiled at Mary and said, "Hello, I'm Dickon. Martha's my sister." Mary was surprised but happy to see Dickon. She said, "Hello, I'm Mary. I live at the manor." Dickon looked around the garden and said, "This is a wonderful place. I can help you make it even more beautiful." Mary smiled and said, "I'd like that very much." Dickon knew a lot about plants and animals. He showed Mary how to take care of the garden. He taught her how to plant seeds and how to help the plants grow. Mary learned quickly. She loved working with Dickon. They became good friends. Every day, Mary and Dickon worked together in the garden. They dug, planted, and watered. The garden began to look even more beautiful. Flowers bloomed and the air was filled with their sweet scent. Mary and Dickon laughed and talked as they worked. They were very happy. The little robin, Redbreast, was always with them. It hopped around, chirping and singing. Mary and Dickon talked to the robin as if it were a friend. They believed that the robin understood them. Dickon said, "Animals are our friends. They help us in many ways." One day Dickon brought a small bag of seeds. He said, "These are special seeds. They will grow into beautiful flowers." Mary and Dickon planted the seeds carefully. They watered them and waited for them to grow. As the days passed, the garden became more and more beautiful. Mary and Dickon were proud of their work. They knew that the secret garden was a special place. It was a place of happiness and friendship. They looked forward to seeing it in full bloom. Mary's life had changed a lot since she came to Misselthwaite Manor. She was no longer lonely and sad. She had friends and a purpose. The secret garden had brought joy and life into her heart. She was grateful for the garden and for her new friends, Dickon and Redbreast. Mary and Dickon continued to work in the secret garden. They loved seeing the plants grow and the flowers bloom. The garden was becoming more beautiful every day, but Mary had a feeling that there was still a mystery to solve at Misselthwaite Manor. One night, as Mary lay in bed, she heard a strange sound. It was a soft cry, like someone was in pain. She sat up and listened carefully. The sound came again. Mary decided to find out where it was coming from. She got out of bed and followed the sound down the long hallways of the manor. The cries led her to a room she had never seen before. She opened the door slowly and peeked inside. There she saw a boy about her age lying in bed. He looked pale and weak. The boy saw Mary and said, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Mary stepped into the room and said, "I'm Mary. I live here too. Who are you?" The boy replied, "I'm Colin. I'm Master Craven's son." Mary was surprised. She had not known that her uncle had a son. Colin told Mary that he had been sick all his life. He believed he would never be able to walk or play like other children. He spent all his time in bed feeling sad and lonely. Mary felt sorry for Colin. She wanted to help him. Mary started visiting Colin every day. She told him about the secret garden and how it was coming back to life. Colin listened with wide eyes. He said, "I wish I could see the garden. It sounds wonderful." Mary had an idea. She said, "Maybe you can. I can take you there in your wheelchair." Colin was excited but also scared. He had never been outside his room, but Mary encouraged him. She said, "The garden is a magical place. It will make you feel better." Colin agreed to try. One sunny day, Mary and Dickon pushed Colin's wheelchair to the secret garden. Colin looked around in wonder. He saw the beautiful flowers and heard the birds singing. He smiled and said, "This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen." Mary and Dickon showed Colin the plants they had grown. They told him about the robin, Redbreast, and how it helped them in the garden. Colin listened and watched everything with joy. He felt happier than he had ever been. As the days passed, Colin started to feel stronger. He spent more time in the garden with Mary and Dickon. He laughed and talked with them. The fresh air and the beauty of the garden were making him healthier. Mary, Dickon and Colin became the best of friends, and the secret garden was their special place of happiness and magic. One day, while sitting in his wheelchair, Colin said, "I wish I could walk in the garden. I wish I could run and play like other children." Mary looked at him and said, "Maybe you can. You just need to try." Dickon agreed. He said, "The garden has magic. It makes things grow and come to life. Maybe it can help you too." Colin looked at his friends and said, "I want to try. I want to stand up." Mary and Dickon helped Colin stand up from his wheelchair. He held onto their hands tightly. He was scared, but also excited. Slowly, he put one foot in front of the other. He took a step, then another. Mary and Dickon cheered for him. Colin smiled and said, "I'm walking, I can't believe it." He took more steps, feeling stronger with each one. Mary and Dickon walked beside him, holding his hands. They were so happy for their friend. Every day Colin practiced walking in the garden. He grew stronger and more confident. He could walk farther and faster. He even started to run. Mary and Dickon ran with him, laughing and playing. Colin's face was no longer pale. His cheeks were pink and his eyes were bright. He looked healthy and happy. He said, "The garden has magic. It has made me strong and well." Mary, Dickon and Colin spent all their time in the garden. They worked together, planting and caring for the flowers. They talked and laughed. They were the best of friends. The garden was their special place, full of happiness and magic. One day, Colin said, "I want to surprise my father. I want to show him that I can walk and run." Mary and Dickon thought this was a wonderful idea. They planned a big surprise for Mr. Craven. As the days passed, Colin grew even stronger. He could run fast and play games. He was no longer the sad, lonely boy he used to be. He was happy and full of life. The secret garden had worked its magic on Colin, just as it had on Mary and Dickon. The secret garden was now in full bloom. Flowers of every color filled the air with their sweet scent. Birds sang happily, and butterflies fluttered around. It was the most beautiful place anyone had ever seen. Colin, Mary and Dickon spent every day in the garden. They played and laughed together. Colin was now strong and healthy. He could run and jump just like any other boy. He was so happy that he could hardly believe it. One day Colin said, "I want to show my father the garden. I want to show him that I am well." Mary and Dickon agreed. They knew that Mr. Craven would be very happy to see Colin healthy and strong. They planned a special day to show Mr. Craven the garden. On that day, Colin walked into the garden with his father. Mr. Craven looked around in amazement. He said, "This is incredible. The garden is so beautiful." Then Colin said, "Father, look at me. I can walk, I can run. The garden has made me well." Mr. Craven looked at Colin with tears in his eyes. He said, "Colin, my dear boy, I can't believe it. You are well." Mr. Craven hugged Colin tightly. He was so happy that his son was healthy and strong. He thanked Mary and Dickon for their help. He said, "You have brought magic back to this garden and to my son. I am forever grateful." From that day on, the secret garden was no longer a secret. It was a place of joy and happiness for everyone. Colin, Mary and Dickon continued to visit the garden every day. They played and laughed together, always grateful for the magic that the garden had brought into their lives. Misselthwaite Manor was no longer a sad and lonely place. It was filled with the sounds of laughter and happiness. The garden had brought life and joy back to the manor and to the hearts of everyone who lived there. Great job sticking with the story all the way to the end. It's time to review the key ideas with a fun multiple-choice quiz. You'll find the answers in the comments section. Take your time with the questions, and don't forget to leave a comment below to let us know if you enjoyed the story. Your feedback helps us improve. If you liked it, show your support by hitting the like button. It really makes our day. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories. Thank you so much for being with us.